Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to be here. It is humbling, actually, to follow the big ideas. And I say that with all due seriousness because it's just fascinating to hear the different things that people talk about and the breadth of issues. I lived for 3 years in the western province of Zambia from 1987 to 1990. Fairly remote place from the capital city. They called it the Road West. Every other road leaving the capital city was called the Great Road North, the Great Road East, the Great Road South. Ours was just the Road West. We were 400 kilometers from the capital city, and I have the sense, Andre, of what you're saying about the impact that people can have throughout the world in thinking about this as a global issue and a global problem, and really thinking about how indigenous peoples can really make a difference and assist us. So, and there were a lot of great big ideas. The thing that perhaps resonated with me because of my experience in Zambia was your notion about how we think about people beyond just in our immediate circle, our immediate geography. So I am the governor of Colorado, and I'm happy to be here today. I'm going to just talk for a few minutes about our story over the last couple of years in Colorado and just hopefully encourage you that there is the ability to change the conversation. We've done it in Colorado, and we believe that it's possible around the country. It's actually happening around the country in a lot of significant ways. I began thinking about running for governor a long time ago, but as it really sort of came to a more concrete notion, the idea that I had in terms of moving forward was that we as a state should think differently about our place in energy consumption and energy production. Partly because we had just such great traditional energy resources, oil, coal, natural gas, but as well because we had renewable resources that I believed were largely untapped. As the governor of Montana used to say, I stole the line from him, but I give it to him. He was right about it as it related to Montana, but Colorado was just about the same. The state of Rhode Island produced more wind energy than the state of Colorado when I became governor, and Rhode Island isn't even a decent-sized ranch in Colorado, is what he would say. Now it's kind of a way of trying to describe how we had not moved on renewable energy. So we began to talk about it in terms of a new energy economy and actually made it part of our campaign in a pretty significant way. So it wasn't just about renewable energy for the sake of renewable energy. It was the fact that we could have economic development around it and really get to a place where we were helping as it related to environmental security, energy security, and at the end of the day, we believed economic security because we could really make it. We could make it a new economy. In fact, I was a prosecutor in my former life, and the opponents were kind of on me for my plea bargaining record, something that prosecutors always face when they run for office. And I had a lot of consultants say, we got to get out there and we got to talk about how you are tough on crime. And I said, no, we're going to go to a wind farm. We're going to film a commercial. And the tagline was, the future of Colorado is building wind farms and wheat fields and making Colorado universities research leaders in renewable energy. And we never looked back. We saw the polls just separate us. And partly I came to that notion because I'd been running for about 16 months before that. I'd been speaking all over Colorado and in homes and in different, places where you go to campaign. I kept seeing people nod their head when I said, we in Colorado have so much untapped resources in the way of renewable energy that we can really make it an economy. And the people of this state agreed, and it was Republicans, Democrats, independent voters, independent thinkers were there with me on that notion. And I wasn't just making it up. I mean, I surrounded myself in my campaign by really gifted people and was blessed that way. But then when I became governor, was able to convince a large number of them to come with me and to be part of building this new energy economy and really focus on the kinds of things that we could do in this state to tap renewable resources. And so we've been able to do that. And in the last 14 months, 15 months almost, we have really built this different economy, and we keep getting good news pieces where businesses are either moving here or growing here because they believe in the possibilities around renewable energy. And we've got some great examples. The Danish manufacturer Vestas building its first Northern American manufacturing plant in Windsor, Colorado. We have different solar manufacturing going on. We put enough wind on the grid last year, just during 1 year, to power over 250,000 homes. And we keep building toward that. We have a large solar farm being built in the San Luis Valley, another large one being contemplated in the southeastern part of the state, a company that's going to build wind towers in the southeastern part of the state. And yesterday, another announcement from RES saying they're moving their research and development headquarters to Colorado because we put ourselves really in the middle of a leadership position on renewable energy. And so that's fantastic, right? That in this state, we have the ability to build that out as an economy. The second part of it really is that we also have a very gifted utility in Excel, who's looking at how we really can work at gaining efficiencies and how we can gain conservation measures and do what we need to do going forward, and really looking at the demand side of it and asking that question. Excel announced that it's going to have one of the first fully integrated smart grids in the country in Boulder, Colorado, so that every home is going to be wired with the ability for the consumer to be able to know how much energy they're using, what it costs them at that time, what things they could do inside their home to change their usage patterns, to lessen their usage, to lessen their cost of their usage, and really get to a place where the consumer's really in control and paying attention to what they use. That's an important part of it too. So it's about renewable energies, it's about efficiencies and conservation, and then it's about research and development. I really would put Colorado up against almost any state if you combine all of the things that we put together in terms of intellectual capital. We have great research universities, CU, Colorado State University, Colorado School of Mines, and we also have the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. So we formed a collaboratory to put all those institutions together and really to leverage the different things they're doing as one entity. We're attracting other research and development entities, private sector and public sector entities coming to Colorado because we have this phenomenal group of people and scientists working on that, and it really makes a difference, again, in being able to market this state as a renewable energy leader. But the next step then was to look at this economy that we can build, meld it with the energy economy that we otherwise had in place, and then ask the question, what do you do as a state about climate change? This is this other place where sometimes you get out ahead of your consultants, and it wound up working for me. I was going to a water congress, pretty conservative group in Colorado, and they said, you need to make an announcement on water, because we really have issues around water in a headwater state like Colorado, fairly arid in many respects. And I said, okay, I'll think of something, and the policy folks were kind of frustrated in trying to do something that was non-controversial, and without asking them, I announced that I was going to put a climate change advisor inside the governor's office for the first time in the history of the state, and that we were going to have a climate change protocol in this state, that we were going to go forward with climate change planning. My consultants did not feel comfortable with the fact that, number one, I didn't consult them. Secondly, that I did that I just went out and said it. But I really believe that the state was getting there. The state was coming there. This was in 2006. And again, based upon a lot of anecdotal information in the campaign, I really felt that that was where we were. We've now seen a 20-point shift in Colorado in just 2 years on how the people of this state feel about climate change. That's a seismic shift. For those of you who pay attention to public surveys, public opinion surveys, a seismic shift that took place over a 2-year period, and we happened to be right there at the right place at the right time. If I'd talked about this 10 or 15 years ago, it would not have had the reception, and it might have actually been laughed at. And politically, it could have been a very difficult thing to do. It was far less difficult to do it in 2006, although some of the consultants hadn't caught up with where we were as a state in thinking about climate change and how important this issue is to the people of the state. So we were happy.